So let's get this show on the road. Welcome everybody to the September, which is unreal, Missouri Evergreen cataloging meeting. As always, we want to start with just some news, kind of what the committee's been doing. I have started to share my committee board report with you all. This is just the report that I, as the committee chair, report to the board every month. Just telling them what we've been talking about and what we've been doing, which then I just kind of tell you guys the same thing. So a reminder everybody about the monthly cataloging reports. Those do come out on the 25th of every month. So we got some a couple weeks ago. I know that earlier this year I said, oh, we're getting step-by-step instructions on how to do these reports, and descriptions on every one of these reports. And then life happened, but they are on the forefront of the committee's radar again, and we will be editing those and making those available. The deadline is by the end of the year, but hopefully it'll be sooner than that. If in the meantime you need help on what the reports are, how to run them, what to do, and how to get the information you need, just email Cat Help and we can help you. We have helped tons of people with how to navigate these reports every month. So we are happy to do so. And now it is Liz's turn. Before Liz talks to us, we are so happy. Ron sent out an email to everybody a few weeks ago, but Liz has accepted a contract for another year as our Missouri Evergreen Consortium cataloger. Yay, and I could not be happier. So congratulations, Liz. And what do you have to share with us?
So hello. So what do I have to share? Okay. So as always, training. If anyone needs training, you can email me directly. Do not email Equinox. Only email Equinox for training if your library wants to pay for it. Equinox only does training when you first migrate in, and that's included in kind of the money you pay when you come in. After that, for cataloging training, you would email me or somebody in Cat Help, and they would probably send you to me anyway, but don't email Equinox directly because that would incur a fee to your library in some way, okay? So if you need training, please email me. Or, of course, there's always, I have this Calendly, I don't know, link set up where you can sign up directly for training, small group or one-on-one training. You can sign up there too. But just remember, after you've migrated in, Liz.
Oh, okay.
Cataloging certification, as always, people are always, new libraries are coming in. So we have 149 people certified at the basic level, and we have 88 people certified at the advanced level. And at the last board meeting, we did get approval to have we're calling it an LMS. I don't know what it calls itself. It's, I'm gonna say Odoo, ODOO. And it's it does a whole lot of things. What I'm using it for is a place to put the cataloging certification and recertification. So over the next couple months, I will be transferring all that over, rewriting a bunch of stuff for the certification. It will still be asynchronous, so it's not something that will be like, like you'll have to come to a class or something like that. It's still going to be asynchronous, but it will be online, more like a college course feel where you will open up documents and then the videos. And I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of what it's going to look like. Now, keep in mind, this will look different in the next coming months. I just wanted to give you a glance. So let's see. All right, now can you see? Does it say Missouri Evergreen Cataloging? Awesome. Okay, so this is the landing page so far that I've made. It's going to look different. Pay no attention to the web address, that could change. Okay, but also cats Hooray.
Yay.
But look how nice this looks now. It'll be similar to this. You'll go in, say you're somebody from a new migrated in library, you need to take your basic certification. You'll come in and you'll just follow basically down here. Everything is linked out. So let's say I want to just look at the breakdown of a MARC record. This opens just a preview. Obviously you can make it bigger, smaller, you can print it out. You go down and there's directions for each one still. Great. And then there's also, I don't want it to automatically start. I don't know if it will. Okay, it doesn't. But there's also videos in here for each one linked. So this is how it's hopefully going to look going forward. This is the certification. And then I've also started on the recertification. More cats, they're having a birthday party this time, as they should. And this one, basically, it describes your coursework. And then there's a quiz. Okay. So it's going to look different when you see it. I'm going to talk about this every single month leading up to when this goes live in like January. But I just wanted to give you all a heads up of what it's going to look like since we actually had this little thing. Now we're putting it in. So does anybody have any questions for me about that?
I am super excited about Odoo. Odoo, that's how I'm gonna say it. I don't know how that's how you're supposed to say it. I've kind of, looked through some stuff that Liz has done. She has done an incredible job, and I think the research especially is going to be a lot easier for everybody. And it's not going to be so time consuming, which we all appreciate, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. We still want you to show us that you know how to catalog. Are we having, sorry, let me look at the chat. Well, catalogers need to recertify in both basic and advanced. Yes, right, Liz?
The committee hasn't talked about it, but I mean, if you're certified in basic and advanced now and you're cataloging at advanced, Kate, do they have to do both, or do they have to? I would say just advanced.
For the research, yeah. If you are an advanced, if you're recertifying for advanced, then no, you don't need to do basic as well.
And somebody asked, should we wait to get certified for that site? You don't have to wait. You can go ahead if you need to do your certifications. Stuff is still on the website. Go ahead and do the the certifications as they are. I'm just working on the new ones and rewriting stuff because as we've done updates in Missouri Evergreen, screenshots have changed. It looks slightly different, because that's always fun, right? So I'm redoing that. So feel free to keep moving along.
So as of right now, all of the links on the Missouri Evergreen website for certification, that is what you will, if you need to do certification, that's what you'll use to do that. Will that change in 2024? It depends on when Liz is going to be able to get all of that stuff done. As far as recertification, which for most of us is in 2024, that will be ready. The new way to recertify will be ready by then.
And I plan to have certification done in 2024 too. So having everything be on the new Odoo, Dodo, I don't know, whatever we're going to call it, the thingy.
And I think that, so we announced in February of 2021 that everybody needed to certify. So, and then everybody had 6 months, and the vast majority of everybody, except for people that are new and that kind of thing, they certified within that 6-month period. So I think we will be following who is and isn't certified and that kind of thing. But I'm just going to throw it out there, even though the committee hasn't talked about it yet. So I don't think we're going to be like to the date, Lee, she did her certification on April 16th, 2021. So she has to have hers done by April 16th, 2023. That's not how this is going to happen. You know, are we going to be sure that all of our catalogers are certified? Yes. But as far as I think the way we'll do it is just the way we did it in the first place. We, you know, February of 2023, we'll say it's recertification time. You guys have 6 months to do it. Will that change in future years? Potentially, yes. But this year, that's probably going to be how it is. And if you are newer to Missouri Evergreen and you didn't certify within that 6 months, then of course you don't need to recertify already. You know, you have 2 years. Well, I don't know. It kind of works well that we kind of have a 2-year cycle for everybody, but we will always have people that are coming in, you know, mid-cycle. So we'll figure that out. But so I think just be prepared to need to have your certification done by September-ish of 2024.
Be prepared to have me check in with every cataloger at every library and making sure somebody is certified, whether that's an email, phone calls, but that's going to be happening specifically when 2024 starts. So if you are out there and you're straggling or whatever, contact me for training and get her done. Okay. Now this isn't for if you've just migrated in, you do have a threshold, but this is for y'all that have been here.
And just a reminder, the recertification is not as rigorous as the initial certification. Like I said, we still want you to show us that you know how to catalog, you know, and again, everybody takes this recertification, even me, you know, all the committee members, we all take the recertification. So it's not going to take you 8 hours to do it like it did the initial certification. You know, you will have a quiz and you have some, you know, some actual work to do. So I don't anticipate it taking several hours or anything like that. All right, any questions about the certification? Okie dokie, let's move on. Liz, did you have anything else that we're still in your section?
No, I think that's it for me for now.
All right, Cataloging Connect. We have our local Missouri Evergreen calendar on the Missouri Evergreen website that shows all of our consortium meetings, and they even have Zoom links. So any meeting that you're interested in, you can pop into that calendar and you can get the times and the Zoom links for it. The larger Evergreen community as well did just put something similar live. So any of the larger Evergreen community meetings are also, they have a community calendar as well. So they do have a cataloging interest group, they have an acquisitions interest group, they have reports interest group. So, you know, Missouri Evergreen, we are part of a bigger, you know, community. So if you're interested in looking at any of that, that stuff will be available. And Ruth asks if I will put the agenda back up. I sure will. Maybe. Okay. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second. Share screen. Screen one. Okay. There we go. Okay. So the Evergreen meetings calendar is linked there, and I will also link the larger Evergreen community calendar there after the meeting. Migrations, CAPE began, they went live, but then resource sharing went live August 28th. So that is, you know, recent-ish. But Nevada also went live today, resource sharing. So their little time of waiting to resource share was a little smaller. They were like, we're ready. So today's the day that you get to resource share with Nevada. And for any of you that are not familiar with Missouri, it is Nevada, not Nevada. Don't ask me why, but you know now. Morgan County goes live in just a few weeks as well. Well, no, I guess it's more than a few, if it's November 9th. So, and again, we'll start seeing their stuff in the catalog, you know, we always say a week before, but it's been more like a week and a half or so before. And, again, I will remind you guys all closer to the date, but you will see their stuff come in without holdings in the beginning, and then holdings will be added. And the next thing we're going to talk about is Catalogers Breathe Fire. Again, I just love that Liz named it that. So we're going to talk about this bug. So this bug, so get this. Option to require other libraries to add monograph parts if one library has added a part to an item on the bib record. That's a lot of words, but essentially what we want, and this is still a wish list item, but what we want is if someone has a part on any of the holdings in the bib record, we want it to be where you cannot add a part, or you cannot add a holding without first adding a part. Your holding will not save, because as you know, in Missouri Evergreen, parts are a big deal. If one library has a part, and you know, if most libraries have a part and then there's a couple libraries that don't have parts, it messes up the holds process for our patrons. I know, I've talked about it a million times. So, you know, in an ideal world, we kind of would like what this bug is talking about, where, hey, there are parts on holdings on this bib record. You are adding a holding, but you're not adding a part. So sorry, you need to add a part before your holding will save. So it's kind of an extreme measure, but it's also kind of awesome for us if that could actually be a thing. Because half the time when parts aren't added, it's just an oversight. People are working fast, you know, they're doing their thing, and they don't add their part. So this would be so they could not do that. Now, is this even going to happen? Like I said, this is a wish list item, so there's no like firm start on this or anything, but Liz and I went to the Evergreen conference earlier this spring, and there was wide you know, people, especially consortiums, they really liked this option. So I think there's some real heft behind it that this could potentially happen. So anyway, the point of us putting this in the agenda is we would like for our Missouri Evergreen catalogers to go add heat to that, because adding heat says to the Evergreen coder, you know, community, hey, this is important to a lot of people. So maybe we should look at this. And if you don't know how to add heat, there are instructions on the homepage of the Missouri Evergreen Consortium webpage. Any thoughts or questions about that bug?
Ruth asked in the chat how this would affect acquisitions when adding a bunch of stuff that's on order.
That sounds like a question for a coder that I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that those, you know, the acquisitions community will definitely be a part of this. And again, this is just this seems like something that would really help a lot of people if we could do situation. And the people that are smarter than us and know how to write this stuff, they would be the ones that would need to figure that out. So if it ever, when it makes it to the you know, stage of people, you know, starting to work on it, we will have to make sure that the acquisitions community is in on it too. And they know that the coders know that there needs to be, you know, solutions for acquisitions, people that use the acquisitions module as well. Okay, cataloging discussion. We're just going to mention one more time the parts questionnaire. We just are curious how you all circulate your AV sets. So multi-disc DVDs and Blu-rays. And someday we are going to do something with that information that we gather. Today, Mark 101 field. And Liz, you want to talk about that today?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so The 028 field is I'm gonna say a seldom used field. It's used quite a bit when you're doing media, specifically things with discs, which is hard for me to say. So if I stutter on that a couple times, I apologize. So video recordings, sound recordings, and this will be your publisher or distributor number. So it's one of those numbers that looks like gibberish. It does. It completely looks like gibberish. It means something to someone. It's important to include if it's on the item, but don't try to decipher it because it means nothing if we try to decipher it usually. Kate, you're sharing. So if you could go to the example TCN I have in there.
Sure.
So when you have multi-disc sets, sometimes you will have a publisher distributor number that is for the entire set. And sometimes you'll have them for each individual disc, and sometimes you'll have both. So that's something you need to pay attention for. These are often found on the back by the UPC, or they are found on the actual disc itself.
I find them on
And
the spine of DVDs a lot too.
okay, there we go. And this one was just a really good example. It had examples of all the things and all the ways. So look at these 028. It obviously had them on every single disc that was in this set. Because look, obviously they're sequential, but it also had one for the complete set itself. So these are just really helpful when you're matching things. Okay. So just know this, when you have something that is a disc, you're probably going to have this. You may also see it on an audiobook. Now on an audiobook, you'll probably just have the one for the entire set. You probably won't have them for discs. Just have the one for the set, but it is something to look for. And this goes up there. It's just another identifying number like your UPC or your ISBN. And you do want to make sure you use your Q field, and that is kind of, well, where it came from, you know. Your identifying information is always really your Q field. So you want to make sure to include that if it is on there.
The 028 is one of my favorite fields because as we know, there are ISBNs in this record, but as we all know, one of two things is happening. These are either kind of fake ISBNs that especially like Baker and Taylor, those kind of vendors, they put these ISBNs in there. They're not actually on the item, but they might help us identify that. So, but a lot of DVDs do not have an ISBN. They do have a UPC, but the 028 is just one of those things that's really going to help you identify, especially, you know, when things can be merged or something like that. You know, it's one more level of, oh yeah, these match. So let's get them merged together. So I think the 028 field is great. And again, like Liz said, it's mostly for AV materials. It's going to be your DVDs and Blu-rays and all of that good stuff.
So keep in mind when you're merging things like this together, things that are multiple discs, if you have two sets that you're going to merge together, you could have 5 028 fields on one and 5 028 fields on another, and you should copy and paste them onto one, and then the new record will have 10 028 fields. And that seems excessive, but that is actually correct. So just a warning.
More information is always better than too little as a
Yeah.
cataloger. Okay. Any questions about the 028 field?
I have a question.
Great.
Sometimes if I am adding media that is not in Evergreen, like I've looked under all the things, because every now and again we get random weirdness donated that like, oh, somebody might want this cult thing. I will sometimes do a raw search in Z3950. Do you know, does that search the 028?
I have not tested it, but I have tested most keyword things, and the 028 will come up.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, the 028, it's one of those little numbers. It's one of those things that it's a weird combination of letters and numbers a lot. So it will actually, it's a much narrower search. So it can really help you pinpoint what you're actually looking for than, you know, a title or something like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
okay. That's why I do the raw search sometimes because there are so many. There could be one movie with like 10 different DVD sets or versions or the diamond version, whatever.
right.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So am I 100% sure? Have I tested
Sure.
this like today? No,
No.
but yeah, the 028 is one of those good search fields to find stuff with.
Okay. Next time
assume
I
it
have
does.
one. Okay, next time I have one, I'll test it out. And if I have an answer, I'll let you guys know.
That sounds awesome. Okay. Lot of talk. Awesome talk. Thank you everybody for your listserv emails. We get questions every week that are very welcome. With Cat Help and Liz and I, you know, all of the committee members, we get questions about this when we do and don't merge bib records. Now, some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, we talk about this a million times a day. I know when to do this, but we are a consortium and we work with, you know, our whole community. So just to reiterate again, and there are guidelines on this on the cataloging training materials website for the Missouri Evergreen website. We do not merge DVD and Blu-ray records unless, you know, it's like two different combo packs. Like you have two bibs that are both combo packs and those can be merged, but like the DVD and the Blu-ray bibs, they can not be merged. They are separate formats. So formats can never, you know, share if it's cataloged just as one. So if the bib record is of course for a DVD, you can't put a Blu-ray on it. Large print, regular print books, never, ever, ever on the same bib record. Kits containing different items. I was glad to see this on here because kits, a lot of times, you know, you are locally putting these together, but sometimes, you know, you'll have like, I am Jefferson County Library, but there's also other municipal libraries in Jefferson County. So sometimes those community resources that are donating kits to us, you know, this is a good example. We got some foster family kits, you know, and we got ours here at Jefferson County Library, but Festus also got some. And the kits don't, they don't match exactly. So yes, we have to each put individual bib records in because with a kit, you have a whole list of things that are in that kit. And if your kit has a book that mine doesn't, we cannot share that bib record. So kits containing different items get their own bib records. Board books and picture books, never on the same bib record. That's kind of along the lines of mass market paperbacks and regular print. You know, the size, the format, it's just too different. It's not the same. And of course, with board books, a lot of the time, the print, the actual text of the book is completely different from the, you know, easy book version of it or whatever. Different content, of course, updated editions, not the same bib record. If you get, you know, Fodor's Netherlands, and there's a bib in there for the 2016 edition and you have the 2024 edition, you can't put that on there. Now, I mean, that might have not been a good example because you could do a serial bib record for those kinds of things. But usually updated editions, you should not be putting them on the same bib record. Clean and explicit CDs. You can buy the different versions, you know, at your department store, but also, you know, Midwest Tapes, Baker Taylor, you know, you can buy the two different versions and they can never share a bib record because the content, again, the content is different. And Liz has a note about DVDs and Blu-rays, the 508 and the 511.
All right. So my note about DVDs and Blu-rays, as Kate said earlier, the more information on a bib record, the better. So when you're doing a DVD or Blu-ray, a 508 is where you will put production notes so that it will be like directed by and effects by and yada yadas by. Okay. You might find that in the 245C also, but then again, it goes in the 508. And then the 511 is where you'll find like the actors and actress information, starring Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan and yada, yada, yada. Now, these are great. You fill them out completely, but you also have to then put those people in a 700 and you have to trace them. You have to do both.
And tracing them means they need to be the authorized
Yes.
name that the actor, you know, their authorized record.
So sometimes on these DVD and Blu-ray records, they will have 2,700. I'm not even exaggerating,
Mhm.
like 20. It's a lot. And that's correct. That's how it should look. It's annoying and it takes a long time. Hopefully you can find a record already made and it's been done for you. But we need to make sure we're doing it. Because it may not seem important to us, but it's important to somebody. And that is just like the author. It's just as important.
It all comes down to discoverability, which is what we do as catalogers. So if someone can keyword search or name search any of the things, what if there's a, you know, costume designer buff out there that's looking, you know, for a specific person or whatever, you know, the more information is always better.
So if it is mentioned on the back of that box,
Yeah.
you put it in there. Now, the rule technically is you're supposed to put every single disc in. We all know we're not really doing that. I mean, we're supposed to. We're really supposed to. People that do that, I don't know how we have all that much time. But if it's mentioned on the back there, it should be going in those fields. It should be going in a 511, a 508, and then in a 700.
And hopefully you're finding bib records that, you know, they're pretty complete like that, or, you know, the bib record's already there and you need to flesh it out a little more. You know, hopefully you're not starting from scratch and having to put in 2,700 fields, but you know, it is what it is. Any questions about merging records or the 508 and the 511?
I have a question. I always have questions.
Awesome.
So I knew about putting the 700s to match up. But something just occurred to me when you were talking about searchability. How do the 508 and 511 relate to audiobook narrators?
Well,
I
an
know we
audiobook-
need a 700 for that, but would it also go in a 500?
I mean, it's correct to do that. Yes. Do you need to go out of your way? You know, Liz might have a different opinion. I do. The major thing is that it is somewhere in that bib record to where it's searchable by keyword or by name. So
In audiobook, you're supposed to have a 5XX field that says narrated by. It could just be by the author, or it could be someone's name, and then you again have a 700 field.
Sure.
That is-
Okay. And that's what I
yes.
thought. I
Yes.
just had never thought about it until we just now
Mhm.
talked about it. Because most of the time it's already in the record. It's already in the 500. It's already,
It is.
but I was
Yeah.
like, oh, because we have, we recently signed up for a new e-audiobook and, you can look by narrator, I believe. And I that's for anybody that listens to audiobooks, that can be a make or break.
Yeah.
It is a
Okay.
make or break for Liz.
For
I am
me
not
as well.
proud.
So yeah, that's a perfect example of why we want that kind of information in bib records, because I'm an audiobook listener as well. I will search by a narrator. Oh, this is my favorite narrator. I want to see what else they have narrated. And so that will be a search term. And as long as things are cataloged correctly, everything that person narrated that is in our catalog should come up. Yay.
Yay.
Also, there's separate versions of things. I think one of the more famous ones, Harry Potter. There is a British narrated one and an American narrated one, and they are different. And whichever one is your OG favorite one, the sides are very it's you have a side.
I have
So
a
it's just-
side.
I also have a side. Like, I will fight you. We don't talk about this, guys, with people who aren't our friends. But this is why, because there are
Yes.
people who care.
I love them both.
No, that's not the answer.
That's
It's gonna
not
be the
right.
answer.
No, that's unacceptable.
Okay, any more questions? As you can see on the screen, the cataloging meeting, the regular scheduled day is Indigenous Peoples' Day or Columbus Day. So I know a lot of libraries are closed. A lot of libraries, I know my library, we closed the library, but it's our staff development day. Because patrons aren't surprised if a library is closed on a day like that. Even though we wouldn't normally close, we take that day to close for a staff development day. And I know that there are several other libraries in Missouri that do the same thing. So we have rescheduled the meeting for October 16th, which is the following Monday. I will not be here. So someone, whether it's Liz or one of the committee members, will be leading the meeting. So put that on your calendar, please, that the October meeting is rescheduled to October 16th. Now that I think about it, Liz, I think you told me to talk to people about it.
Yeah, I said we could ask the greater,
Yeah, I guess
wide
the
people,
question
but-
was, because I rescheduled it for that day and then later found out that I had a conflict and I wouldn't be able to come. So, I think it's just easiest to keep it that day and then someone will, we have very capable people that will be able to run the meeting. I have no doubt.
I'll stumble my way through, guys. It'll be fun.
So that's all we have on the agenda. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to talk about? All right, awesome. I will get this, we try to get the minutes and the recording out as soon as possible. Some months are better than others. I did it within the same week last month, so I was so happy. I will try to do that again. And we will see you next month on October 16th. So, bye everyone.